All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today we're jumping into a document that makes some, well, pretty serious accusations. It's called The Crimes of the São Paulo Forum, and our job here is to just walk through exactly what this source is alleging, point by point.
So, the source material we're looking at here, it really doesn't pull any punches. It claims there's this clandestine network, a secret power structure, operating across an entire continent. It's weaving this whole narrative of hidden influence and, frankly, illegal associations.
But before we get into the really heavy stuff, let's just get our bearings. What is the São Paulo Forum? Well, it was founded back in 1990, and it's basically a conference, a meeting place for various left-wing and center-left political parties all across Latin America and the Caribbean. And this is the group right at the heart of all the claims we're about to explore.
Okay, so the document lays out its case around several key accusations, and it starts with what is, without a doubt, the most explosive one, alleged connections to organized crime.
The way the source describes it, this is a two-step process. First, it alleges that the forum provides a kind of political cover, a shelter, for groups involved in things like terrorism, drug trafficking, and kidnapping. Then, step two, it claims that actual, legal political parties that are part of the forum then partner up with these same criminal groups for, mutual benefit.
So what's the supposed fallout from all this? According to the document, the consequences are severe. We're talking about a continent-wide spread of addiction and violence. It even singles out Brazil, saying it became the fastest-growing country for drug use in Latin America because of this. But, the really crucial point the source tries to make is that this process basically makes illegality a normal, institutionalized part of politics in dozens of countries. And those alleged criminal ties, they really just set the stage for the next set of accusations. This is where we shift from the criminal underworld to the political arena itself, focusing on these secretive moves designed to get around national laws. And this is a big one. The third major claim is that the forum fundamentally violates the idea of national sovereignty. The allegation is that the organization tells its member governments to just bypass their own constitutions so they can interfere directly in the politics of their neighbors.
Now, to really hammer this point home, the source zeroes in on a very specific phrase it says came from a former president of Brazil, sem que ninguém o percebesse. That translates to, without anyone noticing. This quote is held up as the smoking gun, supposedly proving that all this interference was meant to be totally secret.
And that idea of secrecy? It feeds right into the fourth accusation. The source basically paints two different pictures. On one side, you have the ideal of democracy, with public accountability and transparency. But on the other side is what it claims was actually happening. 16 years of secret backroom deals deciding the fate of entire nations. The source calls it a fachada enganosa, which means a deceptive facade.
You starting to see a theme here? Secrecy. And that brings us right to the final major accusation in the document, and this one is all about the money. Or rather, a total lack of transparency around it.
And to really give you a sense of the scale of this claim, the source points to a specific period of time, 23 years. It's alleging that for more than 2 decades, this organization operated with absolutely zero financial accountability. This gets us to the core mystery of the fifth allegation. The document points out that for 23 years, thousands of people were flying to these meetings, staying in hotels. All of that costs money. A lot of money. So the source asks a very simple question. Who paid for all of it?
Now, since there's apparently no public paper trail, the source just starts speculating. Could the money have come from those criminal organizations it mentioned? Maybe it was public funds siphoned off from member governments. What about international backers or some other totally unknown source? The real point the document makes is that nobody actually knows. And the document wraps up this whole section with a really powerful metaphor to get the point across. It says the organization's finances have the transparency of a lead wall. I mean, you can't get much more opaque or impenetrable than that.
Okay, so let's take a step back and pull all these threads together. What is the core argument being made in this document, the crimes of the São Paulo Forum?
When you really boil it all down, the document is making these 5 massive claims. It's accusing the São Paulo Forum of sheltering criminals, of getting legal political parties to partner with them, of violating national sovereignty, of operating in total secrecy, and of having completely untraceable funding for over 2 decades. That's the accusation in a nutshell.
And that's where we'll leave it for this explainer. The document we've just walked through presents this narrative of a massive conspiracy that's supposedly hidden in plain sight. It leaves us with a really critical question to think about. When you're presented with allegations this huge, how do you even begin to draw the line between what's political criticism and what are verifiable, factual claims?